Chapter 14. Reinforcements. I found a quiet corner in the subway station away from the scattered evening commuters and pulled out my phone. The fluorescent lights buzzed overhead as I dialed Vicky's number. She answered on the first ring. Finally, Vicky's voice came through sharp and impatient. Renee, every outlet in the city is running stories about the Joker's restaurant takeover. You were there. I need details. I took a breath, glancing around to make sure no one was listening. A homeless man slept on a nearby bench. 2 teenagers were absorbed in their phones. Vicky, I do have a very good scoop, but this is a very dangerous story. There's a good chance I might get killed for telling you this, but there's plenty of criminal activity going on in the city featuring Shrek. Silence on the other end. Then, what kind of criminal activity? The kind that involves the Red Triangle Gang, bribery, and a power plant that isn't what it seems. I kept my voice low. I have documentation, but it's incomplete. I need more time to verify everything before we can publish. Renee. Vicky's tone shifted from competitive to concerned. Are you in danger right now? I thought about the Penguin's umbrella tapping against concrete, the ringmaster's scarred smile, Joker's manic grin. Probably. But when isn't someone in danger in Gotham? That's not funny. She paused. Listen, if you've got something real on Shrek, we need to be smart about this. He's got lawyers, money, and apparently muscle. We go too early with half a story. He buries us and the truth. I know. My train was approaching, the rumble growing louder in the tunnel. Give me 48 hours. If something happens to me, there's an envelope with a friend. I'll make sure you get access to it. Jesus, Renee, maybe you should go to the police. I almost laughed. I already talked to Gordon. He's aware. But this is bigger than just a police matter. This is about the city. Vicky, Shrek wants to control Gotham's infrastructure. The train pulled into the station with a screech of brakes. I have to go. I'll call you when I have something solid. And Vicky, be careful. If they're watching me, they might be watching my colleagues too. I ended the call before she could protest and boarded the train. 40 minutes later, I was descending into the bunker beneath Wayne Manor. The hidden entrance through the old groundskeepers shed still amazed me. Bruce's paranoia had created layers upon layers of security that even decades later remained undetected. Alfred met me at the entrance, his weathered face creased with concern. Miss Renee, Master Bruce has been quite anxious. He's been analyzing those documents since you called. Thanks, Alfred. I handed him my coat, snowflakes still melting on the fabric. How's he doing? He sounded stressed on the comm. He's in his element. Alfred replied with a slight smile. Reminds me of the old days, actually, though I do wish he'd remember he's not a young man anymore. I made my way through the bunker's corridors, past the training room where I'd spent countless hours learning to fight, past the armory where my crimson claw suit hung waiting. The command center was ahead, bathed in the blue glow of multiple computer screens. Bruce sat at his workstation, gray hair slightly disheveled, reading glasses perched on his nose as he scrolled through digital files. The Joker's manila envelope lay open beside him, its contents spread across the desk. Renee. He didn't look up. The documents are real. Financial records, building permits, coded communications. Joker's insane, but he's thorough. I approached the desk, studying the papers. What's the full picture? Bruce pulled up a schematic on the main screen, blueprints of Shrek's power plant. This isn't a power generation facility. It's a capacitor array designed to store and redirect the entire city's electrical grid. Once activated, Shrek will control when and where power flows in Gotham. So he holds the city hostage, I said, my stomach sinking. Worse. Bruce zoomed in on a section labeled Primary Distribution Node. He can selectively shut down entire districts. Hospitals, police stations, traffic systems. he'll have leverage over the city government, utility companies, even federal infrastructure. And with the Red Triangle Gang as enforcement, he'll have the muscle to maintain control. I sank into a chair, the weight of it pressing down on me. How do we stop him? Legally, Gordon would need months to build a case, and Shrek's lawyers would drag it out for years. Bruce finally looked at me, and I saw the old Batman in his eyes, calculating, determined. As Crimson Claw, you'd need to physically shut down the facility before it goes online. But you can't do that alone. So we need help. A voice came from the shadows near the entrance, familiar and carrying a hint of amusement. Good thing help just arrived. I spun around. A figure stepped into the light, tall, athletic, wearing a black suit with blue accents that seemed to absorb and reflect the computer screen's glow simultaneously. A mask covered the upper half of his face, but I'd recognize that confident smile anywhere. Dick, I breathed. Dick Grayson, formerly Robin and now Nightwing, crossed the command center in a few easy strides. Heard Gotham was having some trouble. Thought I'd drop by and see if my successor needed any pointers. Bruce stood slowly, something passing between them, years of complicated history, arguments about methods and philosophy, but underneath it all, the bond of family. You came back. Well, you sent about 15 encrypted messages saying the city was on the brink of collapse. Dick's grin widened. Figured I should probably check if that was your usual paranoia or an actual emergency. It's an actual emergency, I said, finding my voice. Multiple criminal organizations, a corporate conspiracy, and a psychotic wild card who might know my secret identity. Dick whistled low. You've been busy. When Bruce said his successor was talented, I thought he was exaggerating. But if you've managed to piss off this many people in such a short time, you might actually be worthy of the legacy. Bruce returned to his keyboard. Dick knows the old Gotham underworld networks. He can help identify Shrek's vulnerable points and coordinate with Gordon's honest officers. Together, you two might actually have a chance. I looked at Dick, then at Bruce, then at the schematic glowing on the screen. The mission was coming into focus: expose Shrek, stop the power plant, and survive the crossfire between the Joker and the Red Triangle Gang. We'll need a plan, I said. Dick cracked his knuckles. That's what we do best. But first, tell me everything about this Joker character. Bruce mentioned he survived a chemical bath. As I began recounting the restaurant encounter, Alfred appeared with a tray of coffee. The bunker felt less empty with Dick's presence, less like a tomb of Bruce's past, and more like a base of operations for Gotham's future. But the clock on the wall reminded me that in 2 hours I had to meet Selina, and I still hadn't figured out how to navigate the growing complications of my double life.